Hello, good evening. Good evening. Good to finally make it online. I apologize for the delay. We had some technical hitches, and I'm happy I finally got through the problem, and now we are online. So we're just going to wait and see how check people come in. Yeah, it's good to finally make it online for this live IG. I apologize that we are starting late. I'm happy that we finally made it. Okay, just waiting for you to join me here tonight. Hallelujah. Hello, good evening, good evening. This is Beyond the Pain live video, live streaming. Wonderful. Good evening. Welcome. Good evening. Welcome. Welcome. Okay. Let's see if anyone is joining me tonight for this live video. Okay. Hello. Good evening. Okay. Good evening. Good evening. It's good to be here this evening. I'm looking out for people to join me here. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining. Let's invite our friends to join us. It'll be good to have people here tonight. I'm looking forward to having as many friends as possible join me this evening. I apologize that it's starting later than we had earlier intended because of the technical issues, and we are almost good to go. Yeah. Wow. Good to have everyone here. Just trying to make sure that we are friends joining us tonight. Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. Welcome, welcome. Yeah. We are live and we're ready. Good evening. Welcome. Thank you for joining me tonight. Good to have you. Let's see if we have a few more people join us, and then we'll be ready to go. This is Purpose Beyond the Pain, and this is where we talk about how we can go beyond our painful experiences and find purpose through it. My name is Irene Titilola Olumese. I'm a trauma-informed specialist, and I'm a trauma coach and a trauma transformational coach. I help people to walk through their painful experiences, heal from it, and transform their life painful experiences to something purposeful, meaningful, and significant. And in recent times, I have been talking about pain. I talk a lot about pain, the things that we suffer that shift our world on its axis, and what we can do about it, how we can, relate with pain. Last week I had a webinar where we talked about talking about our pain. And one of the things that we shared at that webinar is acknowledging our pain. And sometimes it can really be a challenge for us to actually acknowledge our pain. And that's why tonight I want to talk about when we are really scared to face what happened to us. And the fear of what happened actually keep us from acknowledging that pain. And that's what I would like to share with us tonight as we invite friends to join us for this conversation this evening. When bad things happen to us, when something that shock our sensibilities happen to us, they tend to make us feel unsafe. And so the negative emotion and the deep pain of an unforgettable, painful experience, can linger sometimes for a long time. And it can linger in such a way that makes us feel as if there is no way out of this experience, we cannot get out of it. Welcome. Thank you. Let me know where you're joining me from. Just put in the comment box, where are you tonight? Where are you joining from tonight? And so the negative emotions can hold us bound, when something happens to us. And psychological and emotional trauma can result from extraordinary, stressful events in our lives. And it can shatter our sense of security. It makes us feel helpless. That we are unsecured and unsafe in a dangerous world. And it can leave us, struggling with upsetting emotions and memories. To the extent that we just want to keep it away. And the anxiety that it creates just don't go away. And many times, such traumatic events can leave us numb, disconnected and unable to trust people again. And because of that, we find it difficult to want to deal with it, because of what has happened to us. Traumatic experiences can leave us. Good. Welcome from Lagos. Good to have you here. Thank you for coming on. So traumatic experiences can leave us feeling frightened and helpless. We really feel frightened within us because of what happened to us. And the pile-up effects of the broken dreams, the lost hope, the misplaced direction may sometimes cause us to want to just switch off. Turn off the light, cover ourselves up, and hide away from the world. Those hard times and traumatic experiences do, more often than not, stir up profound feeling of self-doubt and fear. So fear is always associated with trauma and painful experiences. So let's look a little bit. What exactly is trauma? We all talk about it. We hear trauma, we throw that word around. I have been traumatized. Something has really happened to me that has left me feeling, in a particular way. So what is trauma? Trauma is anything that happens to us that overwhelm our capacity to bear it. And it could be a single experience. There could be one-time experience, and it could be an ongoing, relentless stress. And sometimes it could be multiple, right? Multiple events happening at the same time and in an ongoing way. So let's look at what exactly are the one-time events. Such one-time event could be an accident. It could be a violent attack, especially if it happens to us, in childhood. It's unexpected. Something violent happens to us, and it shocks us emotionally. A childhood abuse, a sexual abuse on a child, it shocks us. A rape can happen. It's a one-time event, but it can overwhelm our capacity to bear it. It could be, and sometimes it's an ongoing, relentless stress when someone is subjected to continuous emotional abuse or battling with, life-threatening illnesses or experiencing trauma that comes from incessant bullying, domestic violence, childhood neglect, or repeated failure, things that just keeps going bad, and it can push us to that point that it overwhelms our capacity to bear it. And another commonly overlooked causes of trauma is sudden death, of somebody that is close to us. It's a sudden loss of somebody very close. A breakdown in our relationships can lead to traumatic, and emotional. It can lead to emotional and psychological trauma. Something humiliating, something disappointing, and when someone else is deliberately cruel to us. So experiencing trauma in any form can leave us with the feeling of fear and anxiety. There are many symptoms, but tonight I'm going to focus on the fear part of it. I mean, other symptoms include the shock, because what happened overwhelms us. It shocks our sensibilities. It's a rude shock. It's unexpected, and I mean, it pushes us to a place where we feel helpless and we feel as if abandoned, and our reality is shattered, right? Our reality of normal is shattered. So the shock happens, denial, follows it, unbelief. How can such a thing ever happen? How could this happen to me? And then there's also the confusion. How? Why? Why did this person do this? And that confusion comes in. And then there's difficulty in concentrating, anger, irritability, mood swings, because we have suffered from an emotional and traumatic trauma. And the one that I'm focusing on tonight is fear. However, we also have the guilt, the shame, the self-blaming. I once had a client who was raped by someone that she trusted. It happened in a place where she should have been safe. And because of what happened, she kept, she bore the shame for so many years. And she kept blaming herself that maybe she had done something to deserve this. Maybe that there's something she did that made her predisposed to this. But where it happened was supposed to be a safe environment. And part of the symptoms she exhibited was withdrawing from others. That feeling of sadness and hopelessness, feeling disconnected and numb, are the things that are associated, symptoms that are associated with a traumatic event that happens, whether it is a one-time event or whether it's an ongoing event or multiple events happening at the same time. It can leave us feeling unsecured, feeling unsafe, and feeling done by the world. And when this happens to us, and life overwhelms us, we either want to flee or fight or hide away. Remember, we're talking about being scared to face the pain. And because of the shock, because of the assault on our sensibility, we just don't want to go into that area. We just want, we wish we can erase that page out of our life. We don't want to face it. And so sometimes we flee by burying ourselves, in some addictive behavior, and some go into drinking or drug usage, or even go into promiscuity, just something inappropriate, trying to hide ourselves from dealing with what happened to us. So we focus on just a small part of life and put all our attention on it. Sometimes when we suffer pain, We want to run away from it, you know. We want to anesthetize it. You just want not to feel that pain coming from that event. It is a wound in our soul, in deep within us. It is throbbing, it is hurting so deeply, and you're just looking for a way to anesthetize it so that you don't feel it again. So we want to numb our pain by putting all our energy into something else so that we don't have to address what the real issues are. And sometimes we can really succeed in all these other activities that we put on, but remain miserable inside because we don't want to face or deal with what has happened to us. And there are people who fight, you know, they go to the other extreme in which they begin to exhibit anger. They lash out at the world. They lash out at people in their sphere of influence. They are bitter. They are resentful. And some can actually become violent because of the pain they have suffered. All right? And so they want to take out their anger on others, and some actually get so angry with everyone around about them, including God, asking, why did God allow this to happen to me? And then at another spectrum is to hide. We build a wall around about us to hide ourselves away from the world. Our soul has been cracked, wounded, and we feel a sense of being imperfect, being incomplete, and so we just want to hide ourselves and our disappointment away from the whole world. I've seen people who suffered from traumatic events actually literally lock themselves up in a dark room and refuse to show up outside. And they can spend days indoors, not talking to anyone, not communicating with anyone, and just not interacting because of that pain. It is natural for us to be afraid after a traumatic situation. I mean, fear is the normal body reaction, which helps us to avoid danger. You don't want, you're afraid. I don't want that what happened to you to happen to you again. And it's a normal reaction to be afraid when we have gone through all of this, right? And so we want to do everything possible not to have to face that pain, the traumatic pain. People put on a mask. They insist that they are fine. Even when friends are concerned about them and they come asking you, they say, I'm fine, I'm okay. No, I'm dealing with this. There's nothing wrong. We force a smile, and it's so easy to put up such a smile, a mask, and, completely try to put a front up. We can even force a smile and, I'm doing well. And as soon as we're alone, we know that, no, this is not, something is wrong in there, and we're just not ready to deal with it. But the flip side of it is that when we suppress our emotions, they don't go away. The pain does not go away. We can numb it, we can keep it down. It doesn't go away. What happens is that it brews under, and eventually it will bubble up, and begin to leak out in other spheres of our lives. The pain of our past that we do not deal with will seep into our future relationships. It will seep into other issues in other areas of our lives. Suppressing our emotions will not help us to heal from it. And confronting our pain and acknowledging it takes courage. It takes a lot of courage. And I want you to understand that Yes, I get that. It takes boldness, it takes courage for you to say, okay, this area of my life that I have shut the door to, I need to look at it. I need to acknowledge that this thing happened to me. And I want to assure you that your pain is valid. Something happened to you that violated you. Something happened to you that assaulted your sensibility. You have every right to feel hurt, to be pain, deep within, and to feel the pain. Yes, your pain is valid, right? You do not have control over what happened to you. You couldn't, possibly you were not able to prevent it from happening to you. But what are we going to do with this pain? Is it going to be the last bus stop for our lives? Or the final chapter in the book of our lives? Or are we going to summon the courage to look at it? Yes, you have every reason to be afraid. Yes, I understand that. But again, I want to express to you that suppressing it and not dealing with it is not going to make that pain go away. It takes courage to be vulnerable. And therefore, we need a safe place where we can be vulnerable. Believe me, friends, fear is not your friend. Fear can hold you. The fear of pain can hold you in its tentacles. And the fear can become so intense that it is even, takes you to places worse than what you're afraid of. The fear of confronting the pain can actually become very destructive. You see, our brain wants us to avoid dealing with the pain, and it's going to keep making us avoid areas and surroundings that will make us to feel that pain. That is part of the work of the brain, to ensure that we do not get exposed to pain. However, when it becomes uncontrolled, when it's something that has happened to us deeply, and in that attempt to stop feeling the pain or experiencing the pain, we can actually become afraid of the pain. And eventually our perception of pain becomes so accentuated, and it can be tied to specific locations, that we become afraid to go to that place. You're afraid to be with a certain group of people. You're afraid to be alone. And fear continues to breed fear. Fear continues to breed fear. We can even shut down completely. It's like, a circuit breaker that's supposed to prevent a surge of electricity. That's the way our brain also functions, to prevent us from being shocked. And so when something overwhelming happens to us, it can just shut us down, so that we do not become too exposed to it. So we get it. We can't undo the past. Fear of facing our pain will make us to disconnect from others. It will make us to isolate ourselves. It can actually, in its worst form, keep us from communicating with families, with friends, and we just distance ourselves. But the good news I want to share with you tonight is that when we summon that boldness to confront the pain, to open up that room that we have shut down and literally thrown away the key, where that incident happened to us and all the emotions that goes with it, we can heal. Healing is possible. No matter how intense the pain of our trauma may be, healing is possible, and that is the good news. We can learn to face that fear headlong. It means we take hold of it. I mean, we face fear by facing it. We take hold of it and we stop denying it. We take hold of it and we stop avoiding it. And I do agree that it takes a lot of inner strength and courage to be able to do that. But it's a journey that you don't need to do by yourself alone. You can do it with the help of professionals and with help of trusted friend. If you can bring your place to yourself to that place where you acknowledge this thing happened to me. It shouldn't have happened. This is not my fault. I am not to blame. I'm not responsible for what happened to me. And I'm not going to hold myself culpable for what I had no control over. You may not have control over what happened to you, but you do have control over what you do with it and how you relate with it. And I want to challenge you tonight. Take back your power from pain. Take back your power from that traumatic event. You can. You can live an amazing life beyond what happened to you. If you can summon that courage to begin your journey of healing. And that journey of healing begins with acknowledging the pain. It happened to me. I have been wounded deep within. But my life is more than what happened to me. And I'm not going to give that traumatic event the power of defining the rest of my life. Friends, it would take a lot of strength to resist the desire to hide away or to flee from the pain. But the question, my friend, is this thing that happened to you, would you want it to continue to direct your life, dictate your future, and hold you back from living the best version of you? You deserve to live the best version of you. And you can arrive at the best version of you when you begin your journey of healing. Unavoidable heartaches, tragedies, and setbacks, they are woven to the fabric of our lives. Pain and suffering is inevitable. We live in a broken world where people do dastardly things to one another. But in the midst of all of that, there is hope for us to rise above where life dropped us and happened to us. You can rise up. You can rise again. The first thing we want to do is to avoid avoidance. It's the only way to deal with fear is to face it. The only way to go beyond your pain is to face it. And then you can begin the process of processing your pain so that you can heal from it. Avoiding our fears of our pain will always hold us back. You see, fear is tenacious. Then the fear of pain has very strong tentacles that can wrap itself around us and keep us back. And hence the need for us to break this. You don't want to avoid that pain. You want to be able to work with a professional, a therapist, a trauma-informed specialist, a trauma coach to help you walk through what happened to you. And you need someone you can trust to keep confidentiality, someone who can provide a safe environment for you to be able to talk about this when you want to. Don't isolate yourself. You see, the tendency following a long-term traumatic event or one thing that happened in a traumatic event that happened in a childhood or at one point or the other in our life is for us to want to withdraw from the rest of the world. But that gives that pain the opportunity to fester. Don't isolate yourself. Isolation would only worsen it. And I get it. The reason why you're isolating is because you're afraid of how you're going to deal with this, what's going to happen. I had a client and we were walking through what happened to her. And one day I asked her the permission, can we peep into that room? Can we crack the door open so that we can peep into the past, so that we can let fresh air enter into it and begin to bring out all the baggages that you have been dragging with you for years. And she literally froze, that I can't go back there. But you see, with gentle work, as weeks went on, she was able to go to that place and, bring out what happened to her and talk about it. There was a lot of tears, but at the end of the day, she began her journey to healing. And today she's transforming that painful experience to something meaningful and significant. And she has been able to look at what happened to her, stop blaming herself, and stop carrying the weight of the shame of what happened to her. Whatever the source of the cause of your traumatic event, you can deal with that guilt, with that shame, with the pain. You can heal from it. But it starts by connecting and facing it. That determination, that choice, that I'm going to deal with it. And I'm hoping that as you listen to me tonight, a desire for a better version of you that is healed and restored to wholesomeness will inspire you to want to deal with the pain instead of being scared of it. And you don't have to talk about it in the moment, but just connecting and saying, yes, I have an issue. And then that process starts. The process to healing starts with that decision to lift your chin off from your chest and look up above where life happened to you. And as you begin that journey, you will eventually get to that point where you can open up and talk about it. Believe me, shame dies when secrets are exposed in safe places. Shame wants to keep you where life happened to you. It wants you to keep it secret. I worked with a client who kept what happened to her as a secret for over 30 years. And it festered within her, eating her up slowly, affecting all her relationships, until she got to that place where she stopped being scared of the pain and made that decision she was going to deal with it once and for all. You can ask for support. If you are listening to me and you need help to deal with something that happened in your past that is still holding you, and the pain is gnawing inside of you and it's so intense, please send a message on a DM and I can point you in the right direction. We can set up an appointment and have a conversation about this. The first step is reaching out for help. You can reach out for help. It's important for you to find someone you can share that pain with, you can share your emotions with, you can share that fear of what it happened to you with. Someone who is willing to listen to you attentively without judging you and without being shocked by what you have experienced. Prayerfully consider who that someone could be. And if you want to try me, please send a DM. The fear of pain will keep you from socializing with people. It will keep you from relating with people. Get up and get moving. Move your body. Find a place to exercise your body. Keep your body moving. For as long as you are still, it's just going to keep weighing you down. I know someone who went into dancing as a way of dealing with the pain. She just kept moving. She needed to keep moving, and dancing was a good way to keep moving. You can dance that shame away. You can also find a support group that has people who have your similar experience, so that together you can walk through what happened to you. My dear friends, I said before, I'm going to say it again. I get it. I understand the reason why you feel scared to deal with it. To look at that pain, where you feel scared to go back to that place where it happened. Yes, it's scary when things that happen to us comes from such scary places. It's difficult for us to want to face it. But unfortunately, if we don't face it, it's going to keep us in its grip. We don't get better, we get worse. But you have that possibility of getting better. You deserve to live in the best version of who you have the potential to be. You deserve to live a wholesome life, to be radiant, and to go beyond what happened to you. Let me invite you to join me for the Profit of Pain course. You will see the information on this page, and we will also add it to this live video. At the Profit of Pain course, we take you to start that journey of processing your pain, looking at it, examining it. It's a journey of healing. It's a journey of transformation. And as you go on this journey, you're able to process the pain and then begin to transform it to something that will be meaningful and beneficial for you. I know when you hear profits that you think of financial gain. No, that is not all there is to profit. Profit means beneficial. It means value. It means gain. It's a double tragedy for something tragic and traumatic to happen to us, and we never transform it to something else. What happened to you, you have no control over, but you do have control and the power to decide what next. I want to encourage you to take back your power. The Profit of Pain course will teach you how to face that pain and take back your power. That situation that left you helpless and even hopeless does not need to be the final stop of your life or the final chapter. You don't have to allow it to direct your future and dictate your attitude to life going forward. I hope that you will join us for the Profit of Pain course. I look forward to seeing you online if you do choose to join us. And I look forward to seeing you at the end of your healing journey when you come out a different version of you, healed and restored to wholesomeness. And if you don't want to go the route of the course, you can DM and ask for a one-on-one trauma coaching. And in that, I sit one-on-one with you and walk you through this journey. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. If you have questions, please don't hesitate. Just put it in the comment box if there's something that you would like me to clarify before we end this live video. It will be my joy to do so for you. So I'm just going to give us a few minutes if we have questions or comments and or for clarification, and then I can answer it and you can go and have yourself a good night rest. So if you do have questions about trauma, about dealing with pain, please don't hesitate to ask. I can't see any question coming in. Okay, let me see. No question so far. Okay, looks as if we are all clear. All right, it's been great having you with me tonight. And don't forget, if you need to talk some more about that event that's caused you pain, I'm a DM away. Send me a message and we can fix an appointment to talk about it. Alternatively, join us for the Prophet of Pain course and begin your journey of healing and transformation. Your pain has power. You can harness the power of pain and transform it to something that will be useful and beneficial. I think the next time I come on IG, we will talk about harnessing the power of your pain, and I can share with you how you can get back power. Thank you very much. Thank you for your kind words. Thank you for your kind comments. Do please share with others, and if you know someone who needs to listen to this message, who needs to take that bold decision to face their pain, please do share with them or point them to this video and to this page. Again, I am Irene Titilola Olumese. I'm a trauma-informed specialist, and I'm a trauma and transformational coach. I help you to walk through your painful experiences, heal from it, and transform it to something meaningful, significant, and of eternal value. I walk with this motto: don't waste your pain. It is a double tragedy to go through a painful experience and not mine something good, something beneficial from that experience, something that will benefit you and benefit others. We comfort others with the pain, with comfort with which we have been comforted. But then, of course, we need to be willing to take that comfort. Thank you very much for joining this IG Live tonight. And I look forward to seeing you again online sometime soon. It will definitely be announced on the page. Good night and God bless you. Bye for now.